How's it, everyone? Hope you're all well. Thanks for joining me tonight again. I see a lot of guys still logging on here, so just waiting for Ryan to request. I see here it's come in to request him on. Got it.
Chris, how are you, boy?
Well, in yourself, bud.
Karaka.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
No, it's always a pleasure. I thought it's time we get one of our up and coming stars on the show and hear all about you.
Thanks so much, Carlos. Thank you.
How's things going with the lockdown? You surviving? Are you winning?
Yeah, it's been up and down. I think it's getting long now. Definitely keen to get back into normal life.
Okay.
But yeah, we've been doing our thing, trying to stay sane, just trying to do as much as you can indoors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good man, fantastic.
Yeah.
Quickly want to introduce you properly. So, Ryan Cartwright has been in the cricketing game for many a year, and has grafted hard to get where he is in the recent times, and he's had a really roller coaster ride, but he'll take you through that in the next few moments, and the journey that's led him to where he is today. So, thanks again.
No worries.
You being here, and yeah, let's get the show underway.
Lekker.
Cool. Ryan, who are you? Where do you come from? Where have you played? And how long has this journey taken you?
Sure, it's been a hell of a journey. So born in Durban, bred in Joburg, went to St. Peter's Prep in Johannesburg, and then later on moved to boarding school in Pretoria at St. Albans College. And yeah, that's where I'm from. Played my cricket at Pretoria High School All Boys after school. Represented Northerns at age group levels from under 17. I wasn't picked in the under 15 side. Under 17, I was picked. Under 19, I was picked. Played one Coke week. Yeah, and then I joined the academy with you guys at SSE. I think then it was still the Pretoria High School All Boys Academy, wasn't it?
Correct.
Which then became the SSE Academy. And which is now the fully fledged Titans Academy.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's about it.
Fantastic. That's good. And then your journey through provincial cricket.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one. I started, like I said, I started at Northerns. I made my first class debut in 2013. Represented Northerns there. We played against KZN in Durban. We played against a hell of a side. Yes, I remember that game. David Miller clapped us at the end. I think he got like 80 off next to nothing to win the game. And I just remember that being like, welcome to first class cricket, you know. And I was playing, I think they had a star-studded side. I remember their one-day team was like nuts. It was Morne van Wyk, Vaughan van Jaarsveld, Robbie Frylink, Jonathan Van Dier, Miller, Carl Abbott, I think, was playing. It was crazy. So for me, it was a big eye opener. And then, as you know, injuries set in. I struggled quite a bit with injury, and eventually I made my way down the line. You'll probably hear more about what's in between. But made my way to Easterns, played there, and I'm still there. Still with the Easterns boys. So yeah, that's pretty much been my journey in provincial cricket.
Okay, fantastic. It's been a long, rocky road for you, hasn't it?
It has been, yeah. But it's one I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for that.
Definitely, I think it's taken you to where you are now, and I want to talk about that for a second, because all of these negatives in your life, and I know you've had many of them, specifically with your body, and it's been a touchy subject, the body of yours. Even though if someone had to see you standing next to them, they'd think, how is this guy possibly getting injured? But if you want to take us through these injuries that you've had, from your stress fractures all the way through to being fit, until you've just started joining Easterns?
Yeah, so, geez, okay, well, I mean, my first ever sign of an injury goes all the way back to high school. That was when I first realized, shit, sorry, bowling, bowling does a bit of damage to the body. And yeah, I had my first set of stress fractures in grade 9. And then it was kind of an ongoing struggle throughout school. I basically just try to get through a season up until actually this last season, which is, to be honest, the first season which I've got through without a scratch, if I can say that. And yeah, stress fractures. I remember not long after I played my first game for Northerns, I had I had to have a heart operation. We ran a fitness test, and I remember having this like funny feeling in it felt like it was in my stomach. I thought I did something to like an ab muscle or something, and it ended up being my heart, and I had what you call six-sinus syndrome, where your heart beats irregularly, and figured out that I had to go and get this sorted. I went and saw a specialist, had an operation done to try and sort it out, and yeah, that was actually unsuccessful. But that just managed to sort itself out, and to this day I don't know how it happened, but it did. And then other than that, Chris, I've been pretty lucky with my knees. My knees have been alright.
Yeah.
my ankles now and then, but it's mostly been my back and my hips. But yeah, I can safely say last season got through unscathed, and yeah, it proved to be my best season ever. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So how did you overcome all these injuries? Because I know I've walked along this journey with you for many years, and I've been there through majority of these injuries. But just so that the people watching know, obviously, what you had to go through to overcome these injuries.
I think most importantly, the biggest thing for me has been support from everyone around me. You guys included, obviously. I mean, like you said, you've been with me since God knows when, since in school. Yeah. So you've like you say, walked through this journey with me, and having that support is huge. And I think also just being patient, and also knowing that at the end of the little like tricky period, that you're going to get through it, and that things are going to be better, and that you can follow that dream of yours and keep pushing on. And at the end of the day, I think all of the setbacks have actually, they've made me a lot stronger, and you learn how to deal with them. And I think a lot of the time everyone thinks, oh, it's just a physical, like you hurt your back, and everyone's, oh, is it sore? Yeah, it's sore, but the tough thing I think a lot of guys forget about is the emotional baggage that you carry with an injury, and moving on from that is quite difficult, and it can be quite difficult. I've got a lot better at it with all of them that I've had. But yeah, I think those are the most important things that I remember that have got me through the tougher periods.
Definitely. So I'm just going to fast forward a little bit here. Like you say, you haven't had an injury for a while, up until October last year, roughly, give or take. And since then, it's like sort of spiraled out of control, your career, really. I mean, you played for Easterns, you did really well for them. You got a chance with Titans, you were called into the Titans setup. Who was the first person you phoned, and what was that experience like?
Sure. It was a little bit overwhelming. I remember I think it was day 3, we were in Paarl playing against Boland for Easterns, and yes, we had toiled the first 2 days in the Aggers, and
I think we might have lost.
Did you hear me there?
I lost you for a second, but you're back.
Sorry. Yeah, so I remember it was day 3, and I had my feet up watching the boys bat, and Dassie pulled me aside, and he just said, let's go have a chat downstairs. Chatted with him, and he let me know that I've been included in the squad. And the Titans were playing that. I think they were playing on Monday. We started on Monday against the Cobras in Cape Town. And obviously, being in Paarl, I was down the road. So the next day, I caught an Uber. I remember catching an Uber through to the Protea Hotel to join up with the guys. And yeah, I think I remember calling my mom first.
Okay.
Let her know. Then my dad. Then the girlfriend. Yeah. And yeah, it was overwhelming. It's hard to really like put it into words, but it was just a surreal experience.
Fantastic, and you deserved it. I mean, through this journey that you've had and the hardships that you've had through it, to reach one of your goals, and I know how much it meant to you. It was a wonderful thing, and wonderful to see you there.
Thanks, Toz. Thank you.
So take us through your first franchise first-class wicket.
It was Janneman Milan.
Not a bad one to get.
Yeah, not a bad one to get, to be honest. He's a mate of mine. And I remember chatting to Dassie about it before. He predicted it. He said, "Listen, I think you're going to get Janneman first. Your first franchise wicket's going to be Janneman." And I thought, and I'm at that stage, I'm not even thinking about wickets. I'm just thinking about being on the field. And yeah, and then it happened. I think it was a short ball that it popped on him, and top edge catch down at fine leg. Yeah, it was epic. I remember. It was so nice. The one thing I remember there was Tomo. He was standing at first slip, and as the ball went up, I just remember checking him. He was like, he obviously just froze, and then as soon as Bafana took the catch at fine leg, he came running over, and he was just so happy, and it was awesome. It was a really awesome experience.
It's a memory that's going to stay with you for a long time.
I have him there, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be there with you forever. So, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I want to move on from that part of your journey. So not long after that, you were invited into the SA invitation side to play against England in some warm-up matches. Did exceptionally well there. And then from that, got to be invited to be 12th man for the SAA side to play against England as well.
Yeah.
And I think you must be one of the fast-track cricketers in the world, because not even 3 weeks after playing your warm-up game with the SA invitation side, you were playing for SAA. It was due to some fortune, unfortunate for those guys, but fortunate for you, you had one or two guys have injuries and you got on the park.
Yeah, yes, that was crazy.
So take us through that experience quickly.
Yeah, so the invitational game went really, really well. I bowled nicely. I didn't get any wickets, but bowled nicely, quite economical. And yeah, I was bleak that I didn't get a wicket, but it was what it was. And then I remember Dassie asked a few of us of the Easterns boys beforehand. He knew that obviously the SAA team was playing at Willamore. I think it was the following week. And he said, would anyone like to be 12th man? And I said, yeah, I'll do it. And I think it was myself and KB, can't remember. But on the third day, Glenton, something happened to his eye. I think he got an eye infection. And he asked me if I could go and field for him. And yeah, so I'm like, yeah, for sure. Went and got onto the field. And then next thing I know, Dan Peets, who was captaining the side, comes to me and he says, Carter, listen, do you want to bowl? And I'm like, I've said, listen, but don't ask me stupid questions. Like, of course I want to bowl. And I remember, yes, I ran into the middle of the bat that day. They absolutely carted me. I think they were approaching a declaration. So Ollie Pope was on 140 odd. I think it was Butler or Bairstow were in as well. They were in a bit of a mood, and they trashed us. So the figures weren't great that day, but yeah, awesome experience. And it was a bit weird how it happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, but that's it. It happens
Yeah,
quickly when those things start happening. Eh? Without
absolutely.
doubt. So we're busy with this pandemic in the world at the moment, and it's tough for everyone. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis to keep yourself busy?
Sure. At this stage, I think everyone starts to feel like you run out of ideas or what to do and what's next, like what's the next thing I can keep busy with. But to be honest, I just try and do it on feel. And it is off season now. So I just make sure that if my body feels like I need to go train or I need to go do something outside, then I go and do it. If I don't feel like training and I don't feel like, putting in a workout, then I don't. And I think a lot of the time it's easy for guys to put so much pressure on, I can't just sit on my bum, I got to get up and keep doing stuff. But I don't think our bodies and our mind works like that. I think we all need to work. It needs to work together. And I think so. Yeah, if I don't feel like training, I won't. But most often I do, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise it's Xbox. Otherwise it's Netflix. Reading a book. I'm reading a couple of good ones. Yeah, and that's about
good.
it.
That's good. Yeah. So jumping on to the next question, and I saw one fly past here quickly as well. Briefly, you're a very fit guy. You love to stay fit. You love doing recovery work. How are you staying fit during this time at the house? I know I've seen a few of your workouts and that, so I know what you're doing. But maybe for the rest of the guys, what are you doing to stay fit as a fast bowler?
I think, well, for me personally, I've tried to take this time to make sure that I'm getting the parts of my body that weren't great last season or that could have been better. I'm trying to get them a bit better. I'm trying to strengthen up those weaker areas. So for me, that's my glutes. Everyone knows, like, I've got no bum on me. I wasn't blessed with that. So I'm just trying to develop a bit of a few like some good glutes. And then your leg work, and I'm very big into the body weight stuff. So just trying to keep the body ticking over. And yeah, I lost the love for heavy weightlifting when I was back at Northerns. Wasn't great for me.
We know that, so we won't even go to that part of your life.
Yeah, please.
So, what was the defining moment of your cricket career?
There were a few. It's a combination of a few things. I think first and foremost, the biggest one was probably Dassie getting me to come to the East, and that was so out of the blue and so unexpected. And that for me was huge. I remember I was in Ireland, and at the time, and I was talking to. I went to Ireland with the initial thought that, this is my last season. I'm gonna hang up the boots of the cricket all the way through. I'm not gonna play in South Africa. I've got to find myself a job, start earning some money. And then I spoke to Jonathan Vander, who's a good mate of mine, and he said, listen, don't be silly, don't make a rash decision. I'm gonna speak to my mate who's now coaching at Eastern. And I said, and we ended the conversation with me not even really thinking that it's gonna like come to anything. And I think it was the next day I got a message from Dassie who just said, listen, I know I've heard about you, I've chatted to John or whatever. When you get back, let's have a chat. And then literally, I think it was the day after I landed from Ireland, I was in his office, and he just said that he was interested. And at the time, I couldn't really understand why, but I think that's what happens when you're at that part of your career, or you think you're at that point in your life where you're just like, no, it's not going to work, and this isn't going to happen. And then it happens. You're kind of in a little bit of disbelief. So yeah, I think that was one big one. And then another one was, I'd say this last game against the Lions for the Titans was that for me was personally a big game, because I felt like, I can compete at this level, and I can do well at this level. So I'd say those two moments were the best. And I think as a team, sorry, one more, as a team, that 2020 Cup win with the Easterns boys was next level, because I think that got Easterns as a whole onto the map, and it definitely put a few guys' names in the hats, for things like the MSL, and I mean Marshy, Emmy, they've all grown so much since that. So that was also massive.
Definitely. I remember that, and I think that whole squad, from yourself all the way through to Tomo and Imi, like you said, a lot of people don't know those guys yet, but I think they've already finding parts of their careers within this season that's just passed, and it's fantastic to see. So big ups to Dusty and the guys there that's putting the hard work with them. In your personal opinion, you've bowled at a lot of first-class batters in the country now. Who's been your most difficult guy to bowl at in South African cricket? First class.
Yeah, there are a lot of good guys out there. Carl Varane was tough to bowl at. He hits the ball in funny areas, man. So you always feel like he's going to score. And I think when you feel like a guy's always going to score, even if it's a single, get onto the other end, you can't. It's tough to bowl at a guy like that when you can't really stem the flow of runs and control, because he just hits you in funny zones. Yeah, there are lots. There are lots of goodies out there.
So he's the first one that springs to mind.
He's the first one that springs to mind. I know Tony is another one. I think he's got something special, that guy. So yeah, Tony's another one.
Carl, that's great. Great to see the youngsters getting a mention. Yeah, so good to hear. A few months ago, you and I sat at Supersport Park. We had a little drink next to the field. I think Titans were playing, and you guys had just got off the park. And you mentioned something to me that was quite important. That you had learned something specific from Hardisviljoen that sort of changed your game as well. Do you want to run us through what you mentioned there to me and how that's helped you?
So that was look, there was one specific thing. It was in the context, it was a small thing that he kind of highlighted. But for me, in like a whole, Hardis was awesome for me at the time, because I was obviously coming into this franchise team, and he was there, and I mean, it was kind of unexpected that he was going to be in the mix, and then he was. And when he was around, it was just like I felt like this need to be a sponge around him, and I think it was just his whole presence and all his experience. I mean, he's played all over the world, and he knows his game so well. And I remember that particular thing in Cape Town was he spoke to me about, because naturally I swing the ball, and he said in Cape Town it's not always the case. You got to try and look to nip the ball. And he literally came to me the one day at practice, and he said I just want you to try and do this, try and change this, hold the ball. I literally just held the ball differently, and it it blew my mind how such a small little thing worked so well, especially in the coast. And maybe it was just luck. I don't know. But I think it was just his whole having him there. It was awesome having him there and around, and that to offer advice and chat to.
Definitely. So your past few months, I think it's been 6 months now since you've sort of been training with the Titans guys and been a part of the squad as a whole. What's that been like compared to sort of your provincial setup and then club setup?
I think it's a lot more intense. The intensity is higher, and I wouldn't say it. I think intensity also comes from yourself, and the coaching staff. But I think it's just more demanding. there's a lot more emphasis on being better and like trying to get the best out of you as a cricketer, as an athlete. So I think in that sense it's a step up. And yeah, I think just being around the big guys, it's cool. I love it. It's so cool having Dean Alger in the corner there, and he's like, and when you're around guys that and I mean, you can pick guys for yourself, and what I did was, I've obviously seen the way like Dean plays cricket, and I think it's that his way is awesome, and that's a similar way that I want to play the game. So you stick to those guys and you get close to them and try and just learn as much as you can. Yeah, but it's exciting.
Sorry, what do you say?
It's exciting.
Yeah,
it's nice.
No, I think so. I think if you learn from that and bring that into your own brand of cricket, you can only move forward as a player, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
So you speak quite highly of Dusty. Now, a lot of people don't know who Dusty is. Fortunately, I do. And I know he's been monumental in your career over the last 2-3 years. What would you like to say about the man? Maybe introduce him, let us know who he is a bit and what he means to you.
I think he's actually got a question for me coming up, but I'm scared because he messaged me before the interview. But yeah, Richard Das Neves is he's our head coach at Easterns, and he's been huge for me personally, but not only for me, he's been huge for everyone. And I mean, you could be interviewing anyone here tonight, and if they were part of the Easterns group that he's just recently had, they would all say the same thing. He's been absolutely monumental in what he's done, how he's come into the Easterns change room and just changed everything 360 degrees, and everyone just bought into it, and everyone just adopted the same culture. And for someone to come in and do that, I think that speaks for itself. He's backed me from the beginning. Like I said at the beginning, I wasn't sure why, but then eventually, like I started to understand that, and I took a lot of confidence from that backing. And yeah, I can't thank and speak highly enough of him. I can't thank him enough either for what he's done for me and all of us at Easterns.
Definitely. No, he's a good man, a good coach, and yeah, let's hope he stays there for many years and builds many more franchise players for not only the Titans but for everyone around the country. So what's next on the list for Ryan Cartwright? What's your ambitions, your dreams? What you got lined up?
Sure, Chris. I think at the moment the ceiling is, there's no ceiling at the moment. I'm just trying to comprehend everything with Corona around and whether or not we're even going to start cricket on time. It's all bit up in the air. But yeah, I want to play cricket for South Africa. It's to be blunt about it. And not only that, I think the most important thing is wherever I play, I just want to make a difference, and I want to try and leave a mark on every team that I represent and play for, and bring energy to that team. And yeah, I want to just try and be the best that I can be for the team and going forward. Those are my aspirations, and just become a better human being.
Yeah, well, you're definitely a good human being. I won't lie about that. Just a quick story about you there. I don't know if you even remember it, but when you were playing club cricket under me a few years ago and you got injured, I can't remember exactly what happened, but you ended up saying, I don't want to stop playing, I don't want to rest, I'd rather just be a keeper for the second side, and ended up being the biggest wicketkeeper I think I've ever seen. But that's just sort of a kudos to you. You'll do anything to get on the park, so well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I remember that. That was when Dopey organized Neil Hornbuckle organized the floppy hats for us, and he organized some bucket hats instead. Classic. They were beautiful. I looked like Jack Russell by understand.
Correct, and the biggest Jack Russell in the world.
I wore Frenchie's pads. Frenchie's pads came up my shin, like not even halfway up my shin.
Definitely. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was hilarious. But good times, good times. So I've got some questions here from a couple of guys that have WhatsApped me and sent me through some direct messages. So you'll probably know who they're from. So I'm going to start with this one. It's quite an interesting one. So, okay. What is your weakness? You're good looking, you bowl fast, you build like a machine, a good human being. Is your weakness in your belly button?
Is that Wesley Cletianos?
No, that's not Wesley. It is part of your old team. He does come from your old team. Answer the question. What is your weakness, Ryan?
No, man. Jeez, I've definitely got a few of those. Shucks. Look, I like to think I'm patient, but I also think sometimes I can be impatient. I'm terrible on technology. Technology and I are not friends, so I'd say like that could be a definite weakness of mine. I'm shocking. So yeah, if that's, I mean, yeah.
We'll take that. We'll take that. No problem. Second question. How was it bowling to England's world-class batters, and what did you learn or take out of the game that made you a better bowler?
That game, I remember fondly what I took out of that game. That was also it was a big learning curve for me. I just learned, obviously, bowling to those test batters, that you've got to invest that little bit, that much longer. And I think I bowled 17 overs that first day, and I think they bowled the rest of the 2 days. So I bowled 17 overs that day, and they didn't give me a sniff. And yeah, I didn't get any wickets. I didn't go for many runs, but I didn't feel like I was going to get anyone out. So I think what I learned there was just persevere, be disciplined enough to hang in there and hold on for as long as you can and stay in the fight until someone gives way. And that day, I didn't give way, neither did the batters, and it was good cricket, to be honest. And I think that's what Test cricket's about. You just compete for that much longer, and guys are that much. They're more willing to hang around there for longer.
Definitely. So I see a question in the bottom here. For a youngster leaving school, what do you suggest? Either going to varsity or getting experience in playing local cricket, or what do you suggest straight out of school?
I would suggest getting involved in something like an academy, something where you're going to improve your game and you're exposed to as much as you can be exposed to. I think that's what makes guys better, being exposed to a tougher environment, to where you're working harder. I think that's going to get the best out of a cricketer, especially leaving school, because a lot of kids leaving school will think, I mean, in matric, you leave school and you're like, I'm a boss. I can play first class cricket. But it's very different, and it's a whole different beast. So I think being in an environment where you can be exposed to that intensity, and that kind of lifestyle where it's a bit more specific and also more intense, I think that'll get the best out of you.
Yeah, fantastic. Good answer. So last one from the fans, if you want to call them fans, or viewers. Let's call them viewers rather. Yeah. Would you go back to England? Are you planning to go back abroad? Or what's on your short-term list now?
Well, for right now, my focus is purely on South Africa and being fit and ready for the season coming up. I think when that time comes, I'll definitely look into it. Obviously, there are a few factors that you have to take into consideration when you decide to go overseas. But I would. I'm not against going overseas. I love it. Like we spoke about earlier, I love going out there and playing. No matter where I am, I enjoy it. And I've learned so much overseas. Everywhere I've been, I've learned something. So the possibility for learning there is huge, and they're so passionate about the game. There's no better place to learn a bit more.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally agree. The guys that come back from UK generally come back. Well, the kids that leave here, they play in UK, come back as men. So
yeah,
it's a massive growing.
That's what we spoke about in the academy, does.
Pardon?
That's what we often spoke about in the academy.
We did, definitely. That was one of the big things. So 100% correct. So we basically done. I just have 10 short questions for you.
Okay.
Speed questions, so one-word answers, or as little as possible. Please don't blabber on like Rusty did. He took a while on these. So fire away, Carters.
Okay.
What is your best holiday destination?
The Transkei.
Favorite music?
Coldplay.
A nightclub or bra with mates?
Bra with mates.
Gym or yoga?
Oof. Gym, then yoga.
Okay. Playing cricket in Holland, UK, or Ireland?
England.
Okay. Pizza or burger?
Pizza every day.
Go to drink?
Alcoholic.
Yes.
Costs a lot.
Best character trait?
Best character trait. I'm honest.
Worst character trait?
I'm too honest sometimes.
Okay. Favorite cricketing role model?
Dale Steyn. Sorry.
Good one.
Yeah.
Good one. Carters, thanks for your time, bud. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Doz. That was fun. Thanks a lot.
It's been a good night, and this has really taken off. So I'm really proud of it, and proud of you. You've done amazing things. So long may it continue.
Thank you so much, Doz, and thanks for what you do, and for all your other players that you look after. You're doing a great job.
It's a pleasure, bud. Anytime. And we'll be having another guest on Wednesday night next week. We're gonna turn slightly away from cricket for one night, but I think it's gonna be a good one anyway. So tune in for that one. But Carters, thanks very much, and I'll speak to you soon, bud.
Thank you, Chris. Have a good one, eh? Stay safe.
You too, buddy. Cheers, eh?
Cheers.
Bye.